Are the women in Sweden checking heavy for brothers?
Absolutely,
Damn.
absolutely, absolutely. I'll be honest, it has gotten to a level that some of them they check for the brothers a bit too much,
Whoa,
and as a
whoa,
brother, you
whoa!
yeah.
Pause right there, brother. You telling me that they check for brothers too much? Is that a
Well,
bad thing, bro? Damn.
well, sometimes because you feel like you're just a piece of meat. Like when women comes in, they're like, "Oh, I'm not a piece of meat that you can just use." A lot of these women like they have how do I say this? They have very interesting fetishes or interesting cult mindset when it comes to brothers. If you go on Twitter, if you go on certain websites, you can even because I didn't know about this until two of the women that I was speaking to in Sweden that was telling me about like she has certain friends and she knows certain very like very very quiet low key communities or people women group of women who have fantasies and have like weird global theories about race mixing and all that stuff and they love brothers way too much like I was getting a lot of love, and to be honest, I did not have to lift any finger. Um, when I was in Sweden, especially when I was in Malmo, it reminded me of this famous guy who's a playboy, Dan Bilzerian. I think one time he gave a story. He said that because he's so famous and he has a lot of clout and powerful, he was able to be with a girl without even speaking to her. Like literally, he just points and she pointed, and then they did the deed. So that's exactly how I felt when I was in Malmo, for example. I was just walking around and I was entering like different establishments from banks to shopping malls to grocery stores to play like stores where you can buy shoes and stuff like that. Like I was just walking around, people would look at me, people were giving me like hard choosing signals and like people were trying to talk to me and even when I speak to people they're very open and they're like some of them are trying to touch you and they're like asking like and some of them they're like you see it's all in the eyes, you see in the eyes. So these women they're thirsty for brothers. It's really something.
Let me ask this, bro. Um, so they check for brothers heavy. Is it every race of woman that checks for brothers? Because I know Swedish is multicultural, but
Hmm.
break down the racial group of women you saw out there the most. Was it white women, mixed race women, black women, Asian women, and were they all checking for brothers?
Yeah, me and my when I was there, it's mostly the white women, so obviously because they're the majority. But I have interestingly I have met a mix of Swedish and basically every race. I've met a lady. She was really beautiful, like really really beautiful. She was half Haitian, half Swedish. I met another one who was half Arab, half Swedish, and I also met
What?
another one who was half Indian, half Swedish. But
Ooh.
yeah, the one that was half Indian, half Swedish. Oh my God, man! Like I ended up just like I was close to simping because I literally blurted it out. I was like, I would marry you right now, like right now. And she just started laughing. But and she was like Indian, like from like Calcutta, India, and she's like her father's Swedish and like amazing. It's like praise the Lord. It's amazing how like different cultures, and that's one of the beauties of traveling. When you see different cultures, different skin tones, different backgrounds, different languages, how different ethnicities and different races merge together and create a really beautiful human beings. So when I was there, and all of them, to be honest, they were like really like interested in me. But in terms of like really checking heavy, I would say it was the white, like the pure white, like Swedish woman. And also, I've seen some Asian women. They give me lots of choosing signals. I didn't speak to any of them, but I did see some Asian women, like for example, like South Asia and also like like China, um, those types. They were giving a lot of choosing. And the reason why I say this because even in Canada, when I was in Vancouver, um, like a few years ago, I had met some women who were also half Swedish or had like Swedish like maybe a quarter Swedish and they were all like really interested in brothers. So yeah.
So it seems like every race of woman in Sweden is checking for brothers, and Sweden is some country where black men are essentially kings there, bro. The fact
Yes.
that we get too much love is
Hmm.
crazy out there. Let me ask this, brother. So, despite the fact that they check for us, are they wifeable? Or are they just for recreational purposes only, brother? And keep it real with us, bro.
That's and your answer gives your question has given is the answer itself. Just like somebody I heard saying recreational use only. I'll be honest, like absolutely not. And I think when I made the Iceland stream, I mentioned this that my father he told me if I ever see you with like in settle down with any of these women, he was like indirectly telling me I might disown you, you know, because these women, as much as they're fun, they are not for marriage material. There are certain women across in the globe, as beautiful as they are, you have to be very, very, very careful, such as Western women, Australian women, same thing with these Scandinavian women, because they have extremely high body counts. You know, it's relative. You think you're here in Asia, I'm sorry, you think you're here in the West and you see somebody with a high body count, go to these Scandinavian countries. You will definitely, because it's cold, the population is small, people need to snuggle and feel all warm and everything. So, and people there love to drink. So before you know, oh, I slept with this guy, I slept with that guy, I've been with this guy, I've been with this guy, I've been with this guy. And there, because of feminism, the concept of shame is like virtually non-existent. Like I've met several people who like said, "What is the purpose of being shameful as a human being?" Like people don't even know understand the concept of shame. So why would you be married into somebody who comes from a society that is degenerate? You know, I'm talking about from the moral aspect of things, they're degenerates. But maybe from the general aspect of things, if you know, clean streets, the good economy, a lot of money, a lot of opportunities, they are up there. You know, what top first world country. But in terms of social relationships between men and women, where the man leads and the woman follows, and she listens to him, and she follows him because she admires him and respects him, and she trusts him to guide her to the promised land, I should say. You won't find that in Sweden. So shout out to Jay Bones when he says it. Absolutely smashable, but not wifeable.
Oh, that's crazy. That's some crazy intel for you brothers, man.